Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Achieve Your Dream Summit, where I've been interviewing some incredible speakers, as you well know, and another really outrageous, wise lady. Her name is Lee Atherton. She's got a big smile. She's got glasses that are bigger than mine, and she's got a lot to say. I'm going to read you her bio, and I want you to hang in there because she broaches a subject that is a little tough, but I guarantee you, from someone who has been around a long time, that you're going to hit on this subject multiple times in your life. So you need to know what to do, how to think, how to act.
Hey, Coach Rick.
Yes.
I haven't had anyone call me outrageous.
Okay. Well, I like that. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Well, you have outrageous wisdom when it comes to this subject because it is so difficult. I've been in positions so many times where I've had to work with funeral homeowners and pastors, and I've done funerals and sung for hundreds of them and that sort of thing. So I've been right in the middle of. Now, I'm not going to say it right now. I'm going to read the bio first. Then I'll let you know what she does. Here we go. Miss Lee Atherton, an international best-selling author and speaker, is a first responder chaplain and an end-of-life grief and resilience coach with over 15 years of experience. Her passions are to help people live their dying by discovering the beauty in the process and the gifts to be found, and to journey with people through the white waters of grief, navigating the chaos until they reach the tranquil pool of stillness. Whew. Recognizing the unique challenges of professionals who frequently encounter dying and death, Lee offers coaching and training to support them in their ability to rekindle their passion. Remember that, rekindle their passion and drive for the work they do. All right. Now, the question that I like to ask everybody, I think I have actually, is, Miss Lee Atherton, what were you born to do?
I was born, Coach Rick, to bring comfort, to bring a safe space, to bring non-judgmental ears, to bring compassion to people who are facing chaos, crisis in life. Those moments that their world seems to have turned upside down.
And how do you go about this?
I go about it in a few different ways. So I am a end-of-life and grief coach, and those are probably kind of self-explanatory. I hang out with people who are living their last chapter of life and help them express whatever needs expressing and make the best of that last moment. I think of people who have a terminal diagnosis. Those are my most common clients. And instead of getting that diagnosis and life stops right there, how can you keep making the most of the time that you have left to really live your dying, right? And I've got some really, really touching stories that have happened. I was a hospice chaplain for many years before I went into this work. And when we can make a difference in people's lives so that they can die feeling peace-filled and that they've finished what they need to finish in life, it's awesome. It's just awesome.
Yeah.
From there, so I think of the continuum. I officiate funerals. And COVID has made that more of a long distance kind of thing, which is good and bad in some ways. And I like to think of myself as someone who will step into the really difficult funerals, the suicides, the baby deaths, the tragic car accident where 2 children in one family have died, where it's really difficult, and bring that sense of calm where it often isn't felt.
I see. And this has become your passion.
Oh, yeah.
This has become your dream, but it has also become your business. And
It has.
I would ask you, how does your business fit into your dream? How did you make that happen? That's kind of a tough transition, I would think.
Yeah, so it's a long story. It goes back to feeling called to ordained ministry
Hmm.
as a second career, and needing to get my bachelor's degree before I could go into seminary and get my master's. So I was back in school in my late 30s and taking a philosophy course, not my favorite, but met another woman who was there for the same reason I was, which was unusual, right? And so our journeys paralleled very closely to each other. We both were accepted to seminary as non-baccalaureate students, which was rare.
Wow.
We both graduated the same year, and yeah, we're very close now. But I remember her saying at that philosophy course that her dream was to be a hospice chaplain. And I thought, well, good for you, Donna. Go for it, girl. And at one point she said, I really think you should consider being a hospice chaplain. And I said, yeah, no, thanks.
Oh.
That's not me.
Wow.
So over those years that we were together going through school and being ordained and such, every now and then she'd say it again. And I always the same reaction, in no way, not at all. But then she finally got her hospice job, and I had just finished a couple of years serving a local parish. She was going on an extended vacation and needed to find someone to cover for her. We were on the phone and she said, will you? And I said, no. And she said, come on, you can do anything for a short amount of time, can't you? And I said, yeah, right, I guess you're right. So I covered for her, and I fell in love in a way that I never could have imagined. What was frightening to me, to be at the bedside with someone who was dying and to support their loved ones, it's such an honor to be there. And I felt like I just went right in, for however you want to explain it, whether it was God working through me, the Holy Spirit, or any other way that many people might say that they were able
I'll
to
vote for
do.
the first one. I'll vote for the first
Yeah. Yeah. It just felt like the perfect place for me, that I was meant to be there, meant to be doing that. At the same time, I had gotten certification, a couple different coach trainings, and was my back burner job was being a life coach. And I always kept those two things very separate, right? A life coach is about, what are we planning to do? How are we going to achieve big goals in life? And the hospice chaplain is about death and dying and ending. It wasn't until many years later, after my dad died, that I found a coaching program that wove the two together, an end of life and grief coach. And it just felt perfect, because as much as I loved the work of being a hospice chaplain, there was all the other stuff besides being with the people that I had to do. And I didn't like that part of it, the paperwork, the meetings and all that. So I now could do both of them on my own terms, so to speak.
Wow. And finally the two met.
Finally the two met.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then so that must have been, even if it was a process, it was still an aha moment for you.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And it just felt so perfect when it came together. Right?
Well, our audience can definitely see on your face and hear in your voice a heart for what you do, and your ability. You wouldn't still be doing it if you weren't really good at it after 15.
Right.
After
And if I
15
weren't
plus-
called.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
That's
Yeah.
what makes it. Yeah.
My co-childcare got tied up, and I don't think our audience will mind a cheerful cherub. I hope not.
A cheerful cherub. That is good. That is good.
Yes.
All righty.
And I
Well,
will change the video. I apologize.
oh no, my son is good at editing. Yeah, he's a pro tech guy. All righty. Okay. Well, we
Yeah,
are cooking here,
we
and
are.
yeah, I think you've pretty much answered this. But if you have any more to go with it, the third question I like to ask is, how does your business fit into your dream?
Yeah. So I do have some more to go with it
Oh, please,
before I
please.
answer that question. If
All
that's
right, all
okay.
right. Good.
I didn't talk about the resilience part, and that's
Okay.
kind of new with my business. I am also a chaplain for first responders, and that just happened upon me with the training I did as a local church pastor for best ways to respond if there's a crisis of some sort.
Sure.
And from there, it was taught by someone who teaches crisis response in support of first responders. And it was another piece that just felt like, yeah, this is what I should be doing. So I took training in critical incident stress management, which is a particular tool used for first responders who have experienced really difficult calls.
Mhm.
And in doing that, really found a place in my heart for these people who give so much of themselves.
Yeah.
And that's where the resilience coaching came in, a way that I can offer back to these people who encounter dying and death, and include hospital emergency rooms or ICU,
Sure.
Places where people are under that heavy stress, to give them some bit of what they give to so many others.
Whew. Wow. Have you found yourself counseling any people in the last 2 years who have been frontline people?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit more about that. That's got to be interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. And my hesitancy is, what can I share with keeping confidence in the work
Oh,
that I
okay.
do in
All
that
right.
regard? So very broadly, I'll just share that they, thinking in particular of the first responders and the hospital staff who already had challenging jobs, heavy stuff that they encountered, and then it was multiplied by so many more calls, so many more people needing care and attention, putting their lives at risk every moment that they went out to serve.
Yes. Yes.
In really uncertain and scary ways that many of us faced, not knowing what this COVID thing all was. Thinking of the funeral homes that couldn't keep up with the funerals, the first responders who had too many calls and couldn't take care of the people who had died, and people being in their homes, tragic deaths of young people. So a lot of ways the past couple of years has really impacted them.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that you help them build resilience. I want you to talk a bit more about your subject, your title today. I know it has to do with resilience. What is the full title?
It is the full title. What did I call it? Isn't that terrible? The full title, Chaos Becomes Stars. And I just had it in front of me. There we go. Rekindle your passion for your career.
Yes.
For professionals who encounter dying and death in their work, and build that resilience so that you can be there even when the stuff's the fan.
Rekindle your passion for your work. Wow. Right. Yes, yes. I do know that firsthand, in that both of my parents have passed on, both of my wife's parents have passed on, and even a stepfather has passed on. So, and we've had other family members who have tragically passed on, and it's tough to bounce back. It's tough to have that resilience, but that's what you teach. And
that's what
I want you to tell us all about your free gift. I know you've got a good one, because this is where the rubber meets the road for our viewers, I believe.
Right. The free gift is what's called Chaos Becoming Stars. It's related to my favorite quote from a philosopher, Friedrich Nietzsche. It's only when there's chaos within that you can give birth to a shining star. And that touches me both personally and professionally. It's a quote that carried me through some pretty difficult crises in my life.
Yes.
But it's also my message to folks that, you know, it might be crazy, it might be chaos, you might have gone through a really traumatic time, but somewhere in your future, the light will crack through all that darkness and you'll have a shining star. And it's the gift itself is a free session of Positive Prime, which is a really amazing new tool. Somewhat similar to Headspace and Calm, yet significantly different in the scientific research that has gone into it and the science that it's built on. So this session is something, it's made up of 1,000 slides, 1,000 images.
Wow.
That are all specially curated. Smiles, the Duchenne smile, which is that one that goes from ear to ear that you can't help responding to, and several other uplifting and encouraging photos, quotations, words of encouragement. And you can watch these slides you can take an hour to watch them all, just go by slowly and revel in the beauty and whatever else it triggers for you emotionally. Or you can speed it up and watch those 1,000 slides in just 3 minutes. Right?
Oh, wow.
The first time I watched them, because it goes really fast by, I was, wait, slow it down. I can't pay attention. But that's part of the key. So think about, we have so much stimuli coming at us at any given moment. And we've got a filter that lets the important, necessary information in and just blocks out the rest, right?
Yeah.
The way the session is created, and I don't know all the science behind it well enough to explain it. All of those images and the positive words go past that filter and go into your brain and make an impact. And it's called Positive Prime because it does prime your mind to be positive.
That's great.
And it's an effect that lasts up to 6 to 8 hours. Something I say you have to experience to believe it. But it's really cool. And I created a session specifically for those professionals who I've mentioned. And I have another one in the works that's for people who are grieving. And yeah, I could talk about Positive Prime for a long time, but that's not what this interview is about, is it?
Well, it's about achieving people's dream. And
it is.
And part of that dream is a timeline that includes death, that includes that includes resilience, that includes bouncing back or giving up. And in your case, you're the bouncing back lady. For sure. Yes, yes.
Right.
All right.
And
So, and
yeah,
that is your free gift. Is that correct?
that's my free gift. Yes.
Okay. Now that's going to be on her page. Okay. That's going to be on her page. That freebie is going to be there. But listen to this now. Okay. Listen carefully. This is the premium gift. I was blown away when Lee told me. I was like, you're kidding me. You're really going to do that? This is great.
Absolutely.
Okay. Tell us about it, Lee.
My premium gift is a one-to-one consultation with me, which is about an hour, sometimes up to an hour and a half
Wow.
of coaching, and a 50% discount on one of my upcoming 6-week courses. I can't give you the title for that just yet. It was called Resilient Leaders Mastery, but I think I'm going to change the title. And as I said, it's 6 weeks. It's got lots of bonuses as part of it, lots of tools and resources for folks to show up enjoying their job still, no matter what's going on.
Well, it so has impacted me as I've been interviewing people like you who are very driven, very successful, very focused on what their dream is, their passion, what the plan is for their lives. These people are. And what I've come to the conclusion that the byline for Achieve Your Dream could be get the tools you need, or get the right tools to achieve your dream, to make it finally happen. It's tools, tools, tools. And you're providing tools for people to get through those awful times in their lives, those times that really bring them down, and to offer them a plan, a strategy, if you will. I'm all about strategy for destiny. Offer them a strategy to bounce back, to be that resilient person. And the older we get, the more of those encounters we have.
Isn't that right?
We were, my wife, just before this interview, my wife texted me that a good friend of ours, he's in his 80s, but he just passed away. And that was not a surprise, but just a great guy. And I really like him. You know, I'll see him again, but still, I'd rather have him on earth for a while more.
Right.
A wise man. So so we'll go through some of that. We'll go through that actually as a church. He was one of the elders in our church. He was way up there in his 80s, so I guess that's to be expected at some point. But anyway, all right. We have plenty of time for you to be able to answer this question. And that is, when it comes to living your best life. Wow, I can hear you. I can already hear you, some of the things you're going to say. When it comes to living your best life, what advice do you have for our audience, our viewers?
Live into your passion. When you find what really lights your soul on fire, follow it. No matter how out there it may seem, no matter who says, yeah, you can't do that. Because you know what? I was told that I couldn't do anything more than be a secretary, and kerflooey on that, right?
Kerflooey.
But yeah. And when you find that passion, it's as if nothing can get in your way and stop you. Follow it, listen to it, go for it.
Well, see, that puts us on absolutely the same page, because my course, Strategy for Destiny, What Were You Born to Do, gives people the tools to create their own personal, unique action plan to finally get there, to finally make it happen. And then their life can be improved if they'll take the initiative. Otherwise, it's 2 to 5 to 10 years from now, they're doing the same thing. And they're living in a sea of regret, which I love to say is a terrible place to live.
It is.
Wow. Okay. Well, anything else that you want to throw at people? And don't throw the baby, but anything
no, I won't
else?
throw the baby.
No. Did you say a charming cherub? Is that what you called him?
Charming cherub.
That I'm gonna borrow that. I might give you a byline on that. I'm going to use that. All right. And anything else? Anything going on? What do you think some of the titles might be? What have you thrown out there for your course that people would get 50% off on?
Oh,
Have you thought about it?
living into your passion.
Okay.
Something about with the tagline, even when the stuff hits the fan, because that piece seems to resonate with a lot of people.
Wow.
It's when the stuff hits the fan that we tend to want to run away.
Yes.
How do we keep showing up? So it'll be something along those lines.
All right. Well, let me ask you another question. Here's a damn. Okay. I have had experiences with companies that I work with, even churches that I work with, closing their doors or going out of business or deciding that they didn't need me anymore. I was making them a lot of money and they wanted it instead of giving it to me, that sort of thing. There is, especially when you're blindsided, there is an intense grief there. There is intense hatred and potential for just malice and evil thoughts.
Right.
When I know in all of my training, as in yours, that we are to forgive, and that the Bible says, "Vengeance is mine,"
saith the Lord.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot going on there. What do you have to say to people who it isn't necessarily death, but it's the death of maybe something that was a passion, that was a dream, that people thought was probably going to carry them through the rest of their lives, and all of a sudden it's gone.
Yes. Thank you for asking that question, because I think it's important for our listeners to know that grief comes in many forms, from many ways, not only the death of a loved one. Could be the death of a dream, could be the death of a career, death of a pet, losing your home. Think of all the wildfires and the tornadoes.
We went through that. We went through that and on a I don't know what you call it, a lawsuit that was phony. And we lost our house. Our house. Yeah. And that's actually that's part of my free gift, is my story.
Oh, goodness.
But yeah, it was traumatic, especially when I was already over 60. It was really, really, really tough. So yeah, when that hits the fan,
right?
Yeah, I think you got to go entitled there. I really do. Yeah. Especially the Bible.
And then the giving yourself permission to grieve, and not saying, it was only, because it wasn't just only. It was important to you. And it's
big boys don't cry. Big boys don't.
Oh, that's a bunch of baloney.
Hold it in. Yeah.
Bunch of baloney.
Yeah. Well, I will be transparent here that when my father died at age 93, just a few years ago, I went back to Billings, Montana for the funeral, and my sister and I did the funeral, and we told stories about Dad. We were supposed to have 30 or 40 people there, maybe, because he was in his 90s and most of his friends had passed away. But we ended up with 400 people from all over the state who had interacted with him in this or this, like Kiwanis or barbershop quartet singing and these sorts of things. And so my sister and I just led stories, but I didn't grieve, Lee. And it took getting back to Nashville and just one day in the shower, wham, it hit me. And I was happy for warm water, and just to be cascading over me, as just washing away the tears. I know that sounds figurative, but it was reality.
It is reality.
And letting go of my dad on this earth, which I really didn't want to do. So a lot of my life was, I need to ask Dad about that. He was probably the smartest man I've ever known. So wonderful guy. So anyway, that's personal. Yeah. Grief in so many different packages.
Yes, that's for sure.
All right. Well, do you have any other sage comments, sage wisdom? What did I call you at the beginning? Any outrageous wisdom?
Outrageous wisdom.
Yeah. Well, consider. Look, I mean, you need to watch yourself and see how you just glow when you're talking about this. And why is that? It's because it was part of the plan for your life before you were even born. It's always been there. And thank God, I'll just say it, thank God that you followed.
Thank God for the people who crossed my path and showed me something different.
Yeah, especially your
Thank
gal
God for God.
She pushed you, and then and then said, "I need you to take my place for a few days here." And it was, no, I'm not going to. But you did, and you got a taste of what it's like to bring people to a place of calm. What did you call it? The tranquil pool of stillness. That is so descriptive. I need to write a song on that.
Oh, please do. I love it.
Yeah,
so I've lived grief.
Yes.
And my analogy is riding grief's whitewaters, right? A class 5 rapids. It is outrageous. You don't know if you're going to survive. You got to duck your head and watch out for the rocks or boulders. And but I have never seen a whitewater river that didn't come to a tranquil space where the water was still.
I've done whitewater canoeing and just about lost my life with capsizing with people who should have known better. It's funny now, but it sure wasn't funny when you're in high water rivers with just a canoe and a couple of paddles. Woo! Yeah. So I understand whitewater, and I tell people don't ever do whitewater canoeing, and not ever anything smaller than an 8-man raft. Okay.
Yeah.
That is outrageous wisdom right there.
That is good wisdom for sure.
All righty. Well, are we ready to wrap this up?
I am ready.
Okay. All right. Well, remember, folks, this is the Achieve Your Dream Summit, offering you tools to make it happen, to get to the point where you're living your dream like Miss Lee is leading her dream, living her dream. So you're not going to be able to see this again, and you won't be able to, you'll be able to get your free gift, and that is a dandy. Oh my goodness. But that premium gift, when the time comes and you need that 1 hour of just, how do I handle this, Lee?
Yeah.
And it's there. It's there for you. I mean, that is an unreal, that is an outrageous gift. That really is. Thank you so much. And then when she finally gets her course named and gets that out there, if you've got family, you got people who get her course, pass it around, help the people in your space, in your sphere of influence, to understand the truths that are in that course, and just be a hero. But you gotta upgrade. You gotta do the technical stuff. Okay, the logistics say you have to upgrade to VIP, and you can do that. It'll be all over the place for you to be able to do that. But do that so that you can have what she has. You can learn from what she has in that cranium of hers. Yes.
You made me think of another piece regarding the course. It's not only for individuals. I also offer it to organizations for their teams.
That's huge. That is huge. Okay. Well, we will audience, we will have her contact information, and wow. There are all kinds of applications for that little tidbit. I've got my mind going crazy here, being able to do group coaching on that line. Taking people to the tranquil pool of stillness. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, well, let's let people get back to their lives, then let them contemplate what you have offered today and what they're going to do with it. Because if they just set it aside, nothing gained there. So people need to take heart with what you've said and hugely with what you're offering. It's been a pleasure. It's been an honor to interview you, Miss Lee. And now,
and likewise to be here with you, Coach Rick.
Well, it's fun. These interviews are great. So we're going to sign off now. On to the next video. Talk to you again soon.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.